Hello YouTube and Mr. People out there, this is Gamatist and today we're going to be looking at FTL, Faster Than Light. If you haven't heard of this game, you should have, because it's a very good game. Then again, all the games I review are usually good, so this is no exception. Now Faster Than Light is going back to one of those retro looking games that I love so much. As you can see, the graphics are kind of pixely, even the music is kind of, you know, retro-ish, like beginning of 90s, and that I mean we talked about this retro feeling in Papers, Please. In this case, it's not supposed to feel, I mean, it is supposed to feel like an old game, but it doesn't add to the story itself. It's more an artistic choice, and I think it's kind of cool. Maybe it's got more of a link to the mechanics rather than the story. Maybe in Papers, Please it's more about the story, because those graphics are set in that time. Here it's more about the mechanics. The mechanics of the game are a little bit, that R sounded a bit like a pirate, but they are a little bit more like, yeah, a bit retro-ish, you know, like there's nothing complicated, no 3D graphics or anything like that. It feels almost like a board game, so I think the graphics fit the style from the mechanics side of things. So let's get started. So this game, you're gonna die 1,000 times. That's part of the game experience, and it's actually fun. I usually don't like games that are really hard, but in this game, in this case, it actually works. So yeah, yes, no, wait, no, I'll continue my thing. Pause. So actually, no, let's start a new one. It'll be better. Save and quit. Yeah. Pause. So I've unlocked a few spaceships, as you can see and stuff, but usually start out with a spaceship that looks a bit like this. Now the whole objective of this game is you have a spaceship, you have your crew, you can expand your spaceship by getting better crew or by putting better weapons, and you're supposed to save the universe. Now you're never gonna save the universe unless you spend hours on this freaking game. The game sessions are pretty short, but you do it again and again and again, and that's actually one of the appealing things about this game. It is very risky because not every game is able to do this, but in this game you play once, you learn things, you fail, and you start again. And you do collect things, or you do upgrade things in the game, such as, you know, you get better spaceships, stuff like that. But the most important thing about this game is that you actually upgrade yourself. Like your brain, your real person's brain gets upgraded because you learn tricks and tips, and you know, you screw up in a way and you're like, oh, next time I know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do that differently. So that's what's magical about this, and a lot of games fail at this. It becomes kind of frustrating that you die and you restart and you die and you restart, and this one it works. That is pretty crazy. Yeah, so one of the best things about this game as well is the game feel. Now it feels like an old game in a very good way. So we're gonna go to normal and choose this spaceship. It's fine, it's just an example. So yeah, so the game feel is awesome because everything about it, the colors are very pleasing, everything is very blocky and chunky and clear to read. It just feels good to look at. And same with this spaceship, the way this is structured, it's so even and so well designed. You know, you have these little squares. There's this thing about game feel, it's the way things feel when you play. It's a very subconscious thing. It's not directly what you see on screen, it's more like the connection between the screen and yourself. That sounds very transcendental, but it's true. It's, for example, the easiest way to explain this is when you're playing a board game, why does it feel better to have a wooden piece or a wooden counter than a plastic counter? You know, there's no, it could be the same color, it could be the same thing, but there's something about the wood piece that feels better and more expensive than the plastic piece, and we don't know how, we don't know why. Same with games that are designed to be played with game controller instead of a mouse. It just feels better with a game controller, and also the controllers themselves. Some controllers feel better than others. So this is something we don't really pay much attention usually, and it's usually at the bottom of the list because a lot of times also we don't have that much influence on it. It's kind of hard to work on it, but it's very important to keep in mind. And this game does it extraordinarily well. Um, so one of the good things also about this game is that it also feels very random. It's a bit when you travel around space. I mean, I'm gonna really mess up the whole game. Ship. No, hold on. I completely forgot how to play this. Oh, jump. There we go. As always, I like to give it a bit of time before I play the game again so that I can feel like it's the first time and explain things a bit better. So it feels very random because of this. You have events every single time, so you never know what to expect. It's always a surprise. But there is a underlying pattern. There's enough events that you don't get bored of them, but there's not so many that you feel like it's just crazy amount of content. You like being able to do the same thing again. You like, for example, this mission, aid the civilian ship. You want to be able to do it again. It's something that if you enjoyed it the first time, you like to repeat it again. Now, again, this game is a game of fine lines because even this rule is a fine line. A lot of times games show events way too many times and they get tedious and repetitive and boring. Or they show events too few times and it feels frustrating because you never, you're like, oh, I loved it when I did this. Why doesn't it show up again? Oh, screw this, I'm playing something else. So again, it's a very, very fine line. This is a very risky game and it could have done really well as it has, or it could have just flopped because of very, very little, balances. So let's aid the civilian ship so that we can get into a battle. And oh yeah, you could pause. Now bear with me because I completely forgot. Okay, I have to turn this on. And we're gonna shoot it. Auto fire. There we go. I don't want to think too much because I'm talking. But yeah. But these things, I mean, the way things happen in this game, it's just really clear. There's no doubt about anything. Oh, hold on, wait, I forgot about this. I have to choose where each thing goes. So stupid. There we go. So the pacing of the game is great because there's a rhythm to it. You know when things are going to happen, you know in which order they happen, you know what action came from them. It's not like a mess, and this is all about feel. It's not a mess like if you play one of these big 3D space games where you just have shooting everywhere, and yeah, you know what's happening, but you can't. There's no rhythm to it, sort of. And in this game, there is. It's slow. It feels like a turn-based game, but it's not. But that rhythm is really, really nice, and a lot of games achieve this. I mean, this is if you've watched a lot of Jackie Chan movies. His fights are really interesting to watch because they have a rhythm. A lot of other fights in Hollywood don't have rhythms. His do, and this is part of it. Contact civilian ship. Okay. Okay, so we take the remains. Cool. And also you have the hecticness and it's one of these games where you can kind of, you have both things. You have adrenaline rushes and you have what I mentioned, for example, in the Euro Truck Simulator review, the zone, where you just chilling out and just relaxing. So right now we're in the zone, so you'd just be making stupid decisions. Things are not that complicated. Then you would get into a fight. Let's see if we can get into a fight here. Then you get into a fight like we had before. Now that wasn't a very difficult fight. This is probably going to be a bit more challenging. Oh, crap. I don't know what I'm doing. So, intruders. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna die pretty fast in this game because I'm not paying a lot of attention. Anyway, um, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, so it gets very hectic. This, for example, gets very hectic. Yeah, let's accept the offer because I don't want to think about it too much. So it gets pretty hectic, like you just saw, and you get very nervous and you get this adrenaline rush. But you also have a lot of control because you can pause it. And the thing is, there's so many ways about this game, and I'm going back, and I'm going to another subject, but it's about the randomness, what I was talking about before, the randomness of this game, and because you could do the same thing in 1,000 ways. For example, I just had an intruder here. I could send my guys to, fight the intruder off, but I have so many choices. Which guy should I send? Should I send this guy who's shooting, or should I send this guy who's driving, or should I send this guy who's supplying the energy? Depending on the guy I choose, it's a big difference. It's the difference between it doesn't matter who you send, and it really matters a lot who you send. It just adds another level of strategy. And not only that, but I can actually also open these. And if I open these, now this is something really cool, and this is kind of hard to do as a game designer, to find something that works this well. Hey, you go here. Nope, you're gonna die if you go through there, you stupid idiot. Anyway, so what I did here is I opened the gates, and I could kill people by asphyxiating them because they can't breathe. So this means that there's no oxygen, so I could do that. Now these are little details that just add another level of complexity there, and they're so cool that this is one of the memorable things about this game. Everybody who's played this game, they probably remember this little detail that was so awesome. And of course, it has a lot of little loops. I mean, this game is a genius when it comes to loops, because you have the little loops, for example, of the battles. That's a small loop. You have loops of trying to pass certain levels, and then you have the super loop of saving the universe. So from the beginning of the game, you already know exactly what you're supposed to do. This is something that a lot of people miss out on. They might just have the battle system, or they might have just the main story, but they don't have battle system. You have to have all these different loops, the different sized loops, that keep the player engaged. Second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, possibly month to month, depending on what game you're making. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the RPG elements. There's not really RPG per se, because everybody dies at the end of a mission, but you do get to modify your space. It's like a mini RPG, because you do get to modify, for example, my current spaceship, and expand on it and customize it and choose which battle techniques I want. It's not straightforward. It's not just, oh, you shoot and that's it. I could shoot, and I could shoot, like, I think there's 3 different types of shooting. Like, you have bombs, you have lasers, you have rockets, so what kind of shooting do you want? Second of all, do you want to invest in your shields? Because your shields is another way to go. Have a super strong shield, so you might not shoot that much, but they're not going to be able to go through your shields. So you have plenty of time to shoot them. Or you could have a teletransporter, which I don't have right now, but you could teletransport to their ship. If you have really strong characters, you can send them to fight them. So there's so many choices, and all of this is so well balanced because there's not one clear strategy. And the reason there's not one clear strategy is because it's always different. It's a randomization that we're talking about. And it's not only different every time you find a spaceship, it's different every second. Because, like, for example, in the previous battle we saw before, I was just shooting, and suddenly there was a guy in my spaceship. That changes everything. Now I have to worry about this guy. I can't think about shooting that much because I have to get this guy out of my spaceship. So this is very tricky to do as a game designer, to add all these elements and balance them out. But randomizing stuff really helps to balance things out, because it really keeps you on your toes. If you knew exactly how to do things from the beginning, you would always use the same strategy. So it wouldn't really matter that I could shoot or send people or open my oxygen gates if, for example, every time I open the oxygen I mean the vault doors or whatever these are called, if that was a clear solution all the time, that wouldn't work. So yeah, it's a great example of randomization, and it's probably the main reason why this game works so well. It's I talked about this also in Euro Truck Simulator, where and about Diablo, that these random these random algorithms that create random events and random situations really keeps the game fresh. It never gets boring because it's always new. Now again, this doesn't apply to all genres, but it is very interesting. It is very important to keep in mind, depending on which game you're making, that randomization is a big point. So yeah, there's clear rewards at the end of every mission, which is very important, because even though you die, I did say that you do upgrade your brain, sort of, but you do also earn new spaceships or earn new little things that really feel like it was worth doing that mission. Because the weird thing is, you're not gonna win. Like, if I start the mission right now, I know I'm not gonna save the universe. I might, but it's very unlikely. But I still do it. So it's weird that I go on this suicide mission, and I think it's because I know that I'm gonna earn things, I'm gonna win things. I know what I'm winning, and it's very clear since the first time I play. If I played the first time, destroyed my spaceship, and I earned nothing, I probably wouldn't play again, because I would say, what's the point of this? It's impossible, and I'm not really earning anything. So it is important for the first players to earn stuff. You can slack off later as the levels progress and not give as much, but yeah, you have to. This game achieves that very well, that sense of progress. Yeah, so this was more or less a quick review. I didn't want to get into too much detail with it, because it's a game you really should try. It's a very long game. You're gonna waste a lot of hours on it. Dock with a refueling platform, yeah, sure. Oh crap, of course. Now this game is also he's an asshole basically, because whenever you have a choice, it's probably gonna be the wrong one. But again, it's with the mood. The game is not cheating you, because it happens since the beginning. This is one thing also maybe I should mention. When you have a game like this, where you want to screw the player a lot, so to speak, you better start doing it from the beginning. Because if you let the player feel like he's safe and then you screw him later, the players who want to get screwed will not continue playing the game because they think it's too easy, and then players who do not like being screwed, they will keep on playing the game until that point and then quit because they thought it was an easy game, and it's not. So make sure you maintain the mood from the beginning. So this game is very, very tough. It's not forgiving, and it has no mercy. And it shows us from the beginning, so you're in trouble since the beginning, and that's what you should make it very clear from the beginning, because then players who accept that, they'll be accepting a very cool ride. But players that do not like it, they can leave earlier and not waste their time. So yeah, that's pretty much it about this game, FTL, Faster Than Light. Check it out. It's a very fun game. Like I said, look at the interface. This is the main thing about this game I think you should look into. The interface and the game feel, the colors, the shape of things, everything is really well distributed. Game feel. And bring a board game out and check the pieces and see why you like certain pieces more than others. Compare different board games, and you'll feel like, just by looking at the board game, you feel like playing that board game over that one. Why is that? This game has the same thing. So thank you for watching once more. If you think there's any interesting facets about the game design in Faster Than Light, please leave your comments below. And if you like this video, subscribe. There's more coming soon. And yeah, you can also check out www.gametist.com, like scientist, but gametist. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.